Welcome all my Pluto in the 8th house friends. Pluto is quite at home in this domain. You guys are my ultimate transformers. So stay tuned while we go over what it's like to have Pluto in the 8th house. So if you are new to astrology and just happen to stumble across this video and have no idea where your Pluto may be, then have no fear. Just head on over to astro.com, click on charts, and then scroll down and click extended charts. Type in your birth information and a nice little birth chart will appear that tells you where the planets were on the day that you were born. Now, you will have to have your birth time in order for this to work, but once you get your chart and notice that Pluto is in your 8th house, then this video is for you. So what is Pluto? Well, Pluto is the planet that represents transformation, the death and rebirth process, the occult, things that are taboo, things that we fear, the psyche, power, and control. It is a tiny but very powerful little planet. So what is the 8th house in astrology? Well, here is where things get interesting with this placement. The 8th house is traditionally ruled by Scorpio, so it deals with Scorpio-related topics like secrets, betrayals, taxes, intimacy, joint finances, inheritances, deaths, sex, and Pluto is ruled by Scorpio. So if you have Pluto in Scorpio in the 8th house, then everything in this video will be magnified for you. But even if you are a part of the other Pluto generations like Sagittarius or Libra, you are still going to have some scorpionic traits with this placement. Remember, Pluto is here to teach you things. It works by taking your power away and then presenting you with lessons throughout life where you gain your power back in a more everlasting way. So you will go through life learning how to control your Pluto and not allowing it to control you. But you have to go through some dark places before you get there. Remember, Pluto is the planet that is farthest away from the sun. It receives the least amount of light. So there are some shadow sides of things that you will have to face, but with Pluto, you are able to transmute these things. So what happens when you have the planet of transformation and the house of secrets and betrayals and joint finances? Well, just because Pluto feels quite comfortable in the 8th house does not mean that the person with this placement is always going to feel comfortable. In childhood, this person could have felt powerless. They could have gone through some type of abuse, whether that was physical abuse, emotional abuse, sexual abuse. These are the children whose parents would have struggled with substance abuse problems or alcoholism. These children could have experienced parents that had power struggles in their relationship or some type of chaos like arguing. Their parents may have divorced or never married but argued. So when you reach adulthood, you yourself could have experienced a divorce or something where there was a shakeup in joint finances. And joint finances could also be with your parents too. You know, as a child, their money, your parents' money was your money. So some type of shakeup could have occurred in your finances with another person. Now, these children may have started young being troublemakers, pushing the envelope, causing chaos around them. They may have been the ones to get in trouble at school when they were younger. You find that these are some of the most naturally deep individuals. They are most connected with things in life like life, death, sex, and power. These men and women are connected to self-empowerment and how one deals with fear. This placement requires evolving. These individuals are not going to be able to escape this. It is going to seem like you are always going through a death and rebirth process if you have this placement, that you have to experience the darkness. But one thing I have noticed is someone with age and experiences, these people don't necessarily fear involving anymore. After a while, they get so used to cleansing and purging and refining and purifying that they understand this is who they are, and they embrace themselves and realize what a gift this placement is, because they can transform things in one lifetime that other placements cannot come near transforming. If this placement has good aspects to it, then Pluto in the 8th has perhaps the peak of its power. I like to think of this placement as the snake shedding its skin. Someone with this placement will shed their skin, so to speak, many, many times in this lifetime. And it's not easy to always do, but it must be done. Just think, if someone has this, let's say in Scorpio, it's a fixed sign. It can be a stubborn sign and not necessarily wanting to change. But with Pluto there is no standing still. Things will transform. So these people transform constantly. It feels like the reason they are able to transform is because these are the people that can literally get to the bottom of things. And when they get to the bottom, they want to go even deeper. They want to figure things out. I feel like this is why people with this placement are drawn to astrology, because you can learn a lot about someone, even yourself, once you learn about birth charts and astrology placements. These are the people that want to know your birth time when they start talking to you. They can look up your natal chart, and they're not doing this just to be nosy. They just want to know everything about you, even the hidden parts that you aren't expressing. Astrology can be quite a natural thing for someone with this placement to start digging into, because it's seemingly endless. They can deep dive and learn about people so much that they basically know the person more than the person even knows themselves. I'm serious though. They can make great astrologers because they can see things that are deep in the chart. The chart holder may not even realize is playing out. Now, these individuals may love solitude, and not necessarily because they are introverts, but more because they go so deep into topics that they could be researching things like maybe watching YouTube videos or documentaries or reading books. They could be journaling and working things out within their own psyche. They may have been meditating and getting answers to life's questions. It takes a lot of energy to deep dive into topics, and sometimes they just need to be alone to be able to deep dive and learn things. These individuals also feel quite deeply. Okay, their emotional experience can be quite intense, and they attract people that can be equally as intense. They can be attracted to people with wealth or power. They have no fear with large amounts of money. These are the people that can get with celebrities or local celebrities. There can be themes of manipulation, jealousy, obsessiveness in their close relationships. In fact, someone with this placement may subconsciously stir up things in a relationship so that there is chaos introduced, and things that subconsciously need to be worked out or processed can be taken care of, because a person with this placement could run if things are calm and peaceful forever in a relationship. That's why they're troublemakers in school if it's just calm. These people are pros at transforming during their life. They very naturally cause other people to transform as well. These are the people that do not necessarily fear what comes up during the transformation process. So if you are transforming, they can stand by you while you are going through the shadow side, because they have experience facing their shadows as well. These people can make excellent counselors or life coaches because they have gone through the actual experience of facing their own darkness and transforming it. They are no stranger to betrayal. It is likely that someone with this placement will be betrayed in life, whether it is by parents, friends, partners, kids, co-workers, bosses. They can go through some pretty soul-crushing experiences where they can self-destruct and then transform themselves. Now, one place that they are able to transform is through sex. These people are great at sex. They can transform themselves and others with it. These are the people that aren't afraid to explore, to try new things, maybe even taboo things. It's possible that they gain their power and wealth through sex in this lifetime. But beware, they are so good at it and they know the power behind it that they could potentially manipulate others through sex. These are some powerful people and they are able to grow their power in time. Now, also, these are some of the most resilient people that I know because this placement is associated with change and rebirth, and they have to have deep reserves of strength and willpower to withstand the things that they face. And they learn with this placement that with power comes responsibility. Now, my one piece of advice to anyone who deals with someone that has Pluto in their 8th house is to never, ever manipulate them. I repeat, never ever manipulate someone with Pluto in their 8th house. Again, Pluto has the potential to be at its peak power here. So believe me when I say, if you manipulate these people, it may work the first time, but I promise you, they will start digging and figuring out why things are the way they are. And they will figure out the manipulation and then they can reverse it and use it on you. They are naturally suspicious and skeptical, so you are not going to beat these people at the manipulation game. Now, it could be hard for these people to get close to anyone intimately because they have experienced a lot of betrayal in life. They realize that humans are fallible and no human is perfect. And they need to have that total trust in order to become vulnerable. But it almost seems like no human can fully be trusted. So that's where the conundrum happens of them trying to get close to people, but having to watch out for betrayal if they become vulnerable. They want a deep, authentic relationship with someone. They don't want superficial things that do not dive deep below the surface. They want that penetrating down to the soul kind of love. They can be extremely loyal if they see that you are worthy of their loyalty. And these people, these are the people you want on your side because they can handle depths and crisis of life. Now, these are the type of people that may be fascinated with death. Their family may be in a career that is somehow connected to death, whether this be a mortician or they own a funeral home, or maybe they're the florist that sends the flowers to the funeral home, or they work in hospice, or these people may grow up and work in a career related to death, like a homicide detective or at a hospital. They can find themselves being drawn to cemeteries. Maybe they like walking around looking at unique tombstones or seeking out celebrities' tombstones. One thing I've noticed is that there's a lot of celebrities that had Pluto in their 8th house and their death was kind of a sudden death or an unusual death or mysterious circumstances around a death. For example, Elvis Presley had this placement. Princess Diana, Aaliyah, Hitler, Bruce Lee, Jimi Hendrix, Bob Marley. Now, that doesn't mean that every Pluto in the 8th house person is going to experience an unusual death, but the possibility is there. The people with this placement learn to find their personal power through painful experiences, turbulence, upheaval, and even trauma. Then they are able to transform their personal power into someone who is power-filled and can help the masses. They can be an incredible helper for those who are going through their shadow work. And it all started by coming into this world powerless and working through the lessons to get them to this level. But they are the ones that can put in this work to achieve great things. They have this strength and willpower about them. You know, they are the ones in the family that can actually get it done. But in order to get this to this stage, they are powerless and give their power away. And it can frustrate them until they learn to stop giving their power away. These are the people that can talk to anyone in any walk of life, okay? They can get to the deepest secrets of anyone, but they may not want their secrets exposed or their life exposed. They may keep their life private, but they can relate to a lot of people because they have experienced a lot in life. Even if it was not done in the public eye, they have gone through some things and they are great at crisis moments in life. But remember, Pluto is the farthest planet from the sun, so it takes the longest to make a full rotation around the sun. It is a slow-moving planet. These transformations do not occur overnight, but are slowly built up over time. You know, Oprah Winfrey has this placement, so it is no surprise why she was able to get people to reveal their vulnerabilities to the whole world. But she did this with a sense of responsibility. You know, I remember watching an interview one time. Now, I can't remember all of the details, but it was something like she was going to do this interview. I think it was a mom or maybe a teacher or maybe a mom that was a prostitute. But Oprah ended up not doing the story because she didn't want to affect the child. The mom was ready to sell her story for money and she could have got good ratings on it. But Oprah didn't do it. She also had a childhood where her power was taken away from her. She was sexually abused. So you can see how Pluto in the 8th house has played out for her. Sylvester Stallone also has Pluto in the 8th house. His life is fascinating to me because did you know that the doctor that delivered him had to use forceps and it caused nerve damage, which left his left eye droopy and also caused a speech impediment. Yet this man was able to overcome the bullying and the disability and become a well-known actor. You know, he wrote 90 pages of the script for Rocky in 3 days because he said it was so easy. It was about a hero facing their own destiny, which is what I imagine someone with Pluto in the 8th house being. A hero that has to face different wars to amount to their destiny. Bruce Lee also had this placement. He had Pluto in the 8th house. Now, he was born in America, but was raised in British Hong Kong. His father struggled with addiction, and Lee was kicked out of high school and sent back to America to shape up. So you can see how his childhood played out with that Pluto in the 8th house. His dad had an addiction problem, and Bruce manifested chaos around him at a young age, but was able to transform this later. So you can see how these celebrities' lives have played out with Pluto in the 8th house. How has this placement played out in your life? What transformations have you already had to go through? What kind of betrayal have you gone through? I know you've gone through something. Let me know in the comments below. I put out astrology videos every Sunday, and right now we are doing a series of Pluto through the houses. So thank you for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Mwah.